There is something happening inside millions of people right now. Something quiet, something invisible, and most of them have no idea it is occurring. You might assume that when hearing starts to fade, the ears are the only thing involved. That seems logical. The sound goes in, the ear picks it up, and life moves on. But what if that assumption has been costing people something far more valuable than they realize? What if the real story of hearing has almost nothing to do with the ears at all? Here is what the science is beginning to reveal, and what most people are never told. When your brain struggles to hear, it does not simply receive less sound. It starts to work harder, significantly harder. The auditory cortex, the region of the brain responsible for processing what you hear, begins compensating. It strains to fill the gaps. It reaches for signals that are no longer arriving clearly. And that constant, invisible effort comes at a cost. Researchers call it cognitive load. And it is one of the most underestimated forces, quietly draining mental energy every single day. Think about what it actually feels like to strain to follow a conversation. The focus it demands, the exhaustion afterward. The moments where you nod along because asking someone to repeat themselves feels like too much. That feeling is not just social discomfort. It is your brain burning through resources. It was never meant to spend on simply decoding speech. And this is where it gets interesting. Studies from leading neuroscience institutions have found a consistent and troubling pattern. People experiencing even mild auditory processing difficulties tend to show faster rates of cognitive fatigue, reduced working memory performance, and in many long-term cases, a measurably accelerated decline in overall mental sharpness. Not because their intelligence changed, but because their brain has been quietly overworking itself year after year just to keep up with the world around them. But here is what most people don't realize. The hearing system and the brain are not two separate departments. They are one continuous, deeply integrated network. The auditory nerve carries electrical signals from the inner ear directly into the brainstem and then up into the cortex. Every disruption along that pathway, whether from oxidative stress, reduced circulation, chronic noise exposure, or years of silent neglect, affects the entire system. Not just the ear itself. The common enemy is not old age. The common enemy is the slow compounding damage that builds invisibly over time. Damage that most people dismiss as normal. Damage that the healthcare system rarely addresses until it has already advanced far beyond what it needed to. By the way, where are you watching from today? Drop it in the comments below. And if you have ever seen someone close to you quietly withdraw from conversations, stop going out as much, or seem mentally exhausted in ways that didn't quite make sense, I'd genuinely love to hear your story, because what looks like personality change is often something else entirely. When the brain is struggling to process sound, it begins to reallocate resources. Attention, memory, planning. These higher cognitive functions can all be affected when the auditory system is under constant strain. Social withdrawal often follows, not because the person wants to retreat, but because every social setting has become mentally expensive in ways they cannot fully explain. The nervous system, too, is deeply implicated in this process. Chronic auditory stress, the kind that comes from straining to hear, from exposure to damaging noise levels, from the accumulated tension of feeling slightly disconnected from the world, activates low-grade stress responses throughout the body. Cortisol rises, inflammation increases. The delicate hair cells of the inner ear, which do not regenerate once damaged, become even more vulnerable. And oxidative stress, one of the most discussed mechanisms in modern neuroscience, plays a direct role in this cascade. Free radicals accumulate. Cellular integrity weakens. Blood flow to the cochlea, already one of the most metabolically demanding structures in the body, becomes compromised. The signals that should be crisp begin to blur. This is not a hearing problem. This is a whole body, whole brain event. So what can be done? The first step, and the most important one, is recognizing that this process deserves the same serious attention we give to heart health, cognitive fitness, and nutrition. Hearing wellness is not a luxury concern. It is a foundational part of how the brain functions, how we connect with others, and how we age, beyond reducing noise exposure, managing chronic stress, and prioritizing sleep, which all directly support auditory nerve health, there is growing interest in targeted nutritional support designed to work from the inside out, supporting the body's natural antioxidant defenses, supporting healthy blood flow to the inner ear, supporting the kind of cellular environment where the auditory system can function at its best. This is the philosophy behind a carefully formulated option that some viewers of this channel have found valuable as part of their broader approach to hearing wellness. It is not positioned as a cure, and it makes no dramatic promises. What it does offer is a thoughtful combination of ingredients selected specifically to support hearing clarity, ear wellness, cognitive focus, and nervous system health, from a foundation of science, not shortcuts. If you would like to learn more about this option, the link is available in the pinned first comment below this video. Take a look when you are ready and decide if it makes sense as part of your own wellness strategy, because ultimately, the most powerful thing you can do is understand what is actually happening, and then make informed, intentional choices. Your hearing is not just a sensory function. It is a window into the health of your brain, your nervous system, and your capacity to stay connected to the life around you. When that system is under strain, everything feels harder, more distant, more exhausting, but awareness changes everything. Understanding that the brain is deeply involved in every sound you process, that stress and oxidative damage affect the auditory system, that the decline most people accept as inevitable is often a slow and addressable cascade. That understanding is the beginning of something different. You do not have to accept that the world will simply keep getting quieter. The science is here. The connection is real. And for those who choose to take it seriously, the path forward is clearer than most people ever imagined.